Hello, it's Tracy Dix from Wyrd Learning, and here I am on a beautiful sunny day with day 6 of my conversion card challenge. So that's James Wedmore's Powerful Language Patterns That Convert. So today we've got creating a positive future frame. When you are referring to actions related to your offer, you'll want to create positive and future frames. Here are some examples of how I've done that below. Formula. What would that do? Blank. Imagine if, positive frame, ... Examples in action. What would that do to your business and your life? B. Imagine you had a system set up that led every new customer down a path so they clearly know the next logical step to take with you. C. Imagine how much faster you'll grow when you're surrounded by hundreds of people who are doing the exact same thing as you and every win is shared. So I would say that in academic writing, a language pattern like what would that do would be more suitable to thinking about where a research field could go in the future. So if we were to look at improving systems or processes or refining research so that the findings become more sophisticated, what would that do for the future of humanity, for example, or the future of healthcare in more specific areas? I won't kind of go into examples at the moment because you probably have them. They're probably part of your discipline. I would say that the imagine if formula is a little bit too blue skies for academic writing. It's quite creative. And for example, so if you're a creative writing student, you wouldn't say something like imagine if, you would use the language patterns to evoke those kinds of emotions in your reader. So it's a very different kind of style. A couple of other things that I'd like to discuss in relation to today's card is regarding things like creative briefs. So for example, if within your course you are asked to present a brief or write a brief and pretend or imagine that your audience is a stakeholder or a client, then that kind of imagine if blue skies language pattern would be very much applicable. Also the question of what would that do? So what effect would this have on your audience, for example? So if it's a marketing brief, a language pattern like that would be very powerful, as you'd expect, I suppose, because that's what James Wedmore is all about. One final thing I'd like to pick up on as well, regarding example C, about imagining how much faster you'll grow when everyone shares their wins. So I'd like to encourage collegiality among students. So in the past, with working in academic libraries, I've come across colleagues who've mentioned the NSS survey and how students are encouraged to fill it in and give their feedback on how their course or the services can be improved in the future. And in some instances, students have said, well, I don't want to recommend improvements for future cohorts because those are going to be my competitors in the workforce in years to come. And instead of that mentality, I would like to encourage collegiality among students, because what James says here is absolutely true. If everyone shares wins, it encourages a culture of sharing and of growth and of everyone's success and improvement. So there's not a lot to be kind of lost by that. Whereas if you take the attitude of I'm going to keep my knowledge to myself, that's going to very much cultivate the thinking that this is all I have and it's going to run out. But in actual fact, it won't run out because people naturally want to share when they live a life of abundance. And also, when you share, you will also seek to improve yourself. You will seek knowledge in other places and find inspiration elsewhere. So it's actually a very powerful thing to nurture this culture of sharing and of collegiality. So that's all I have for today. Do join me again for day 27 tomorrow.